Growing up, my mother would tell my siblings and me the most wonderful African folk tales. Now, my children love hearing my retellings of her most famous stories. This story I'm about to tell in particular is inspired by a tale by proverb. This tale I'm about to share is inspired by a proverb she recently shared with me, and I will share with you too in her original voice. Translated, it means not everything the eyes see should be spoken by the mouth. Now, if you're ready for the story, let's begin.
Once upon a time, in a faraway land surrounded by tall trees and endless skies, a curious traveler was walking through a strange forest. As he strolled along, he noticed something unusual hanging from a tree branch. He stopped to take a closer look. It was a strange carved wooden head. Its eyes seemed to follow him, and it swayed gently with the wind. The traveler thought, "How odd." But just as he was about to walk away, something incredible happened. The wooden head spoke. In a calm but firm voice, it said, "It is not everything that the eyes see that the mouth says." The traveler couldn't believe it. A talking head. He was so amazed. He decided that everyone had to see this wonder for themselves. So he ran off to the nearest village. In the bustling village markets, people were busy selling fruits, weaving baskets, and chatting with neighbors. But their peaceful day was about to get exciting. "There's a magical talking head in the forest," the traveler shouted. The villagers stopped what they were doing. Was this true? Or just a silly story? Curiosity got the better of them, and soon a crowd was following the traveler to the forest. When they reached the tree, the traveler pointed excitedly. "There it is!" he exclaimed, his voice full of pride. He turned to the head and said, "Go on, talk to them." But the head didn't say a word. It just hung there, swaying gently. The traveler pleaded, "Please, talk. They're here to see your magic." But the head remained silent. The villagers started to grumble. "Is this a joke?" someone asked. "We've been tricked," cried another. But then the village chief arrived, dressed in colorful robes, his staff glinting in the sunlight. The crowd fell silent as he stepped forward. The chief listened patiently as the traveler explained what had happened. The crowd waited, curious about what the chief would say. Finally, that wise chief turned to the traveler. "Perhaps the head spoke to you," he said. "But not all wonders are meant to be shared. Some things are better kept in the heart." The traveler looked down, embarrassed. The chief smiled kindly and said, "Let this be a lesson. Sometimes it's better to listen, learn, and stay quiet than to speak without thinking." The crowd nodded in agreement and slowly began to leave. The traveler, though still amazed by what he had seen, realized the truth in the chief's words. When everyone had gone and the forest was still again, the wooden head whispered softly into the wind. "It is not everything that the eyes see that the mouth says." And so the traveler learned an important lesson that day. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words.
And that's the tale. And I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I did sharing it. Like my mother's proverb reminds us, not everything the eyes see should be spoken by the mouth. Sometimes wisdom is in knowing when to speak and when to listen. Thank you for joining me this time, and until the next one, keep the stories alive.